Welcome back to my channel, Hidden Points. Today, we're diving deep into the mind of the workaholic, that person who just cannot stop striving, working, achieving, and building. Behind every relentless effort, there is often a mind driven not just by ambition, but by fear and a deep-seated need for survival. Imagine a young man named Ethan. He grew up in a household where success was equated with love and attention. Very early on, he learned that only by excelling in school, in sports, and through social recognition could he feel valued. His brain formed a powerful connection, linking achievement with safety and approval. This wasn't just a phase. This pattern followed him straight into adulthood, where he found he couldn't relax, even in moments that were meant for rest. The quiet felt threatening, and stillness felt like failure. His mind was always racing, already on to the next task, the next goal, the next mountain to climb. Now, imagine a woman named Madison. When she entered the workforce, she discovered something powerful. Being indispensable made her respected and liked. So she began working longer and longer hours, eagerly taking on extra projects and sacrificing sleep and her social life without a second thought. Slowly, over time, her identity became completely inseparable from her output. If you asked Madison who she was, she might list her job title, her recent accomplishments, her productivity stats. The person underneath all that work started to fade into the background. She wasn't Madison, the friend, or Madison, the daughter. She was Madison, the top performer. What's really going on here? Psychologists explain that workaholism is deeply connected to two powerful concepts: perfectionism and what is called externalized self-worth. This means a person measures their own value not by their intrinsic qualities, their kindness, their humor, their character, but almost entirely by their achievements. Their sense of self is literally outside of them, dependent on the next promotion, the next successful project, the next round of praise. It's a fragile way to live, because it means your self-esteem is only as good as your last success. Neuroscience gives us an even clearer picture. Brain scans reveal that workaholics often have overactive dopaminergic reward pathways. In simple terms, their brains are wired to get a huge rush of pleasure from completing tasks and achieving goals. This dopamine hit reinforces the behavior, making them want to do it again and again. It creates a powerful feedback loop. But there's a dark side to this. When they are not working or not achieving, these same pathways can trigger feelings of anxiety, restlessness, and even dread. Their brain chemistry literally punishes them for resting. Developmental psychologists trace the roots of this behavior back even further, often to childhood. Inconsistent attention from caregivers or intense parental pressure can teach a child a dangerous lesson: that love and safety are ungiven freely, but must be earned through performance. This fosters a sense of hyper-responsibility, where the child feels they have to be perfect to maintain harmony and receive affection. This evolves into chronic overachievement in adulthood, a relentless drive to prove their worth over and over again long after they've left their childhood home. This constant drive has serious physiological consequences. Research shows that workaholics experience significantly higher levels of stress and have increased cortisol levels. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone. For a workaholic, their nervous system is in a constant state of high alert, fight-or-flight mode even when they are technically at rest. Think about that. Even when they're sitting on the couch, their body is behaving as if it's facing a threat. This is why relaxation can feel so deeply uncomfortable and even guilt-inducing for them. The absence of stress feels wrong. Let's go back to our examples for a moment. Think about Ethan, staying awake all night to finish a project he secretly despised. Not because it was truly urgent, but because the thought of not delivering it perfectly filled him with an unbearable sense of dread. Or consider Madison, skipping important family gatherings, birthdays, holidays to meet a self-imposed deadline that no one else was even tracking. These aren't just stories of dedication. They reveal the hidden psychological price of overwork. The work itself becomes a compulsion, a way to manage internal anxiety. Here's a crucial point. Workaholics rarely see themselves as doing too much. In their own minds, they see themselves as doing what is absolutely necessary to be worthy, to be safe, to be enough. They aren't lazy, and they aren't weak. They're just trying to secure their place in the world. Social psychologists call this the achievement trap. The person gets caught in a cycle of never-ending goals, fueled by a desperate need for validation, a deep-seated fear of irrelevance, and an identity that's completely wrapped up in their work. Each achievement provides only temporary relief before the anxiety creeps back in, demanding the next one. The tragic truth is that in this relentless pursuit, workaholics often sacrifice the very things that make life meaningful. They lose relationships because they are never present. Their health deteriorates from stress and neglect. Their mental well-being crumbles under the constant pressure. Their intense focus on output completely overrides their emotional awareness. They become disconnected from their own feelings and the feelings of those who love them. They're running a race with no finish line, and the cost is immense. And yet, understanding the psychology behind this behavior is what creates hope. It's not a life sentence. Through tools like therapy and mindfulness, workaholics can begin the difficult but transformative journey of separating their identity from their performance. They can learn to recognize their intrinsic value, the value they have simply by being human, not by doing. They can practice cultivating rest without guilt, learning to tolerate the discomfort of stillness until it becomes a source of peace and rejuvenation. When Ethan finally seeks help, he learns to set boundaries. He discovers that his colleagues and his family still value him even when he's not working. He rediscovers hobbies he once loved, finding joy in activities that have no goal other than enjoyment itself. When Madison commits to mindfulness, she learns to listen to her body's signals of exhaustion. She starts saying no to extra work and yes to dinner with friends. Slowly, they transform from exhausted, anxious performers into fulfilled, present individuals. They stop proving their worth and start living it. The psychology of the workaholic is ultimately a story of fear, ambition, and the profound human need for recognition. Understanding it helps us see that this relentless drive is rarely about a simple choice. It's almost always about survival, identity, and the universal quest to feel like we are enough. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more content that explores the fascinating complexities of the human mind. See you in the next one.